Hi, I'm Talia. Welcome to the Geek Room.
And my name is Matt Mercer.
You wish it was.
I'm Maggie.
Don't they look kind of bored to you, Maggie?
Huh. Yeah, they look kind of bored.
We're here to tell you don't be bored because we're going to go talk about everything board games related. So get excited.
And now we're going to throw it over to our Dungeon Master, Arthur.
We're not worthy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Geek Room. This is Arthur. I'm going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons today. So first off, I'm going to talk about how you start the game because a lot of you might know not how to play. So that's totally fine. If you're interested, then go ahead and just listen to me. If not, then tune me out, but still keep watching. So the first things first, you got to create a character. Depends what you like. There's a bunch of different characters. There's at least, I would say, 55 characters you can play as of right now, maybe even more. But you probably go with an elf or a human or something like that just to start off. If you want to get going, try to feel it, because there's a lot of different other characters you can play as, but it might be confusing because then there's like the race and then what the race is able to do and the specialties and just a lot of detail that goes into it. So I would start off with the basics so you're not too overwhelmed during your first playthrough. Right after that, then you're gonna have to be able to choose what kind of armor and different stuff like that. But you can't get the most advanced armor in the beginning. You're gonna start off, it's an RPG, so role-playing, you're gonna have to start off with some of the weakest gear and kind of build up your character as you go along. You can play it as experience points, so if you kill a different monster, if you want to level up your character, or milestones. If you do a certain mission, all of you get to level up at the same time. Just depends how you want to play it overall. Then after that, you're gonna have to find a dungeon master. A dungeon master basically is the one that can tell you how the game goes. So the dungeon master, you probably seen him, he sits there with the big board right there. It has all the monsters on there. Then also, there's also the book. So there's different kinds of books. One of them that I like personally is The Revenge of Strahd. So he would have all the monsters that Strahd would have in that book, and then he can look at it on his pad that he has right there. And he basically tells you the game and what's happening, and then when you come up to scenarios, how you want to fight. So you can do almost anything you want. So instead of wanting to fight, you could talk your way out of fighting. If you see something that you want to fight, you can just fight it. Doesn't mean you're gonna win, but you can fight it. And it all revolves around the dice as well. So if you're gonna be rolling the dice and you're gonna test your luck with lady luck as well. So maybe you roll a D, let's just say there's a D20 dice you're rolling. You roll a D1, that's a critical failure. So you're probably going to be hitting your teammate next to you and they're going to take the damage and not the enemy. If you roll a D20, then that's a critical hit. So it doubles the damage. There's just different stuff like that. Yeah, that's why I say just take it slow. Get a human, get an elf, get a dwarf, something that is very, very easy to play as before you start the game. And then you start panicking because you don't know what you're going to do. And then usually you can pick your fighting class. So if you want to play a warlock, a wizard, a warrior, a fighter, a knight, there's different stuff like that as well. So you just got to take a look at what is your best fighting style. Hopefully that review gives you a little bit of detail into the game. If you don't like the game, well, that's just too bad. I don't care. I do personally. Now I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to send it back to our hosts right over there.
Hey, Arthur, thank you for that. That was really enlightening, and maybe one day we'll get a little Geek Room D&D campaign going.
Dungeon know it.
Oh, man. That was a critical failure.
Hey, have you noticed where's Joe at?
Joe? Isn't he playing, like, Candyland somewhere?
Oh, Operation.
Oh, Operation.
Well, we're going to go on a short break, but stay tuned because we're going to talk about more games. Hi, welcome back to the Geek Room. We are going to talk about board games, so get excited.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what do you think people think about when they think of board games?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people think of Candyland, Monopoly, Chutes and Ladders.
That's what I think of.
Right? Do you have a favorite game, would you say?
I do. So mine is the one that Arthur talked about. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I am currently a level 12 tiefling bard, which is like fun.
So tell me, what is that like?
It's a lot. It feels like it becomes a second person that you are. Like you're playing as this person and you really just embody them because you're role playing them.
So you get super connected to that character.
Yeah, like I've had a character die in the past during the campaign and I cried in real life because it was just that like heartbreaking. So you get very attached for sure.
I love it.
So what's your favorite game?
Okay, so my favorite game is Carcassonne.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
No, can you tell me about it?
Yes. So there's a bunch of tiles, and you basically use these tiles to build the world that you're creating.
Okay.
And then you have these wooden people, they're called meeples, and you use them to take roads or cities and get points that way.
Okay.
So it kind of builds that in that way.
So you're like building a world kind of?
Yes, and the world's going to be different every time you play.
Oh, okay. So how can you make it different?
So the tiles, as you place them, they're going to be different each time because you shuffle the tiles.
Oh, you're building.
Yes. So as you build, it's going to be a whole different world. So the replayability of the game is amazing. You can just play it over and over, and it's a completely new game.
And is it solo player, or can you play it with people?
So you can play it by yourself. I haven't done that personally, but you can play with basically endless numbers of people. As long as you have a different
Ooh.
color meeple set of groups, like you're good to go.
Okay.
But I usually play with about 3 people.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It's super fun.
How do you win the game?
So you win the game when the tiles completely run out, and then you count up all the points. So there's some points that you already counted, and then there's points at the end that you count when your meeple is still on the board.
Oh, okay. Have you ever played Risk, or do you know how Risk goes?
Yes, I love Risk.
Is it kind of similar to that, where like you're trying to get more people in more places?
Yes.
Meeple, sorry.
Meeples. It is similar in that way because there is a sense of trying to get more ownership of certain areas. Like my strategy is I'll stay in the same area and I'll just try to dominate like all the cities, all the roads, like they're
Well,
mine.
don't give your strategy away on camera.
That's just
But it's
one
a
of
good
the
strategy, yeah.
So it's really, and what's super cool about the game is there's a ton of different expansions.
Okay.
As well as individual games. They have the Around the World series, which is super cool. So you can do South Seas, Amazonas,
Ooh.
Hunters and Gatherers is one of my favorites. And they're completely independent games. So they're similar to the base game, but they have their own rules that make them very different.
Okay, Hunter and Gatherers. Why is that one your favorite?
So that's my favorite besides the base game because
Okay.
I love the artwork. The artwork is beautiful.
Ooh.
It kind of has like a watercolor look. And you can gather in the forest or you can hunt, which is where you're like catching elk and stuff like that, but tigers take points away.
Oh.
Or you can fish, and I love the fishing. That's my favorite thing to do in this game.
That sounds fun.
It is super fun. So you have fishing huts and you have little fishermen. It's super cute.
Well, I think we should play this game together at some point.
We are totally going to play this game together.
Okay.
So,
Oh, you want to throw it to the...
we are now going to head on over to our teaser debate. So get excited.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite time. It's a debate. Well, not a debate, more of a discussion, I guess, because we don't know where we're going to go with this yet. So let's find out where we're going to go. All right.
Love it.
Who wants to start where we're going to start?
Okay, I'll see if I can give this a start because today we're talking about where we think the future of board games and tabletop gaming is going to go. So I want to see who has what thoughts on this before I start.
Yeah. So it's
delving
such
in.
a broad topic because there's so many types of games. There's like tabletops, which encompasses a bunch of different games. There's board games. There's RPG role-playing games. The roll and dice games are pretty new, I think. So I'm trying to think. And then even there's games where tactile. So there's different like tactile games that are being developed.
It's a big range.
A huge range of games, yeah. And then video games are their own element.
Are we talking about video games too?
No,
we're just talking
No?
about board
Okay,
games.
okay.
But
That makes it easier because I'm over here thinking like, oh my goodness, like
no, we're talking about video games. What?
No.
I'm not prepared. We're talking about not talking about video games, but I think because of video games and different kinds of like, you can have an iPad and you can play things on an iPad. Like maybe things might start going digital instead of
yeah.
actually sitting there playing with your family, during family time.
Yeah, because I was thinking of talking about how like RPG video games have become a big thing. If you go back to like the 70s and 80s, people are playing D&D, people are playing these tabletop games, and then they start modeling video games after it, which are their own thing now. So it's kind of like, are we just going to get more and more of those, and then it's just tabletop games become more obsolete because we're just playing, like, we're playing Skyrim, we're playing whatever, like...
I think of all the major games I play right now that are tabletop, most of them, especially the popular ones, they all have an app that I can play online.
Yeah.
So, and it's basically the same thing. They have all
Right.
the expansions in there. Personally, as a game player, it's not as fun. It's like a quick way to not have to put the pieces away, but you're missing a big part of the game by playing it online.
Interaction.
Yes, interaction
Human
is
interaction.
So
That
then...
is the big thing that is missing right there.
Yeah, that's true. So then how do you guys feel about things like, for example, during quarantine, my friends and I, we have a D&D group, and we would play over Zoom or over Skype. So we're getting, it's human interaction, it's still a little different, but it's still a tabletop game. How do you guys feel about something like that?
Oh, it's a great question.
You know, that's one of those games. Thank God you can't put D&D into a video game because it will literally be impossible to make it into a video
Hey,
game.
you say that now, but 5 years from now when VR D&D comes out...
VR D&D. Well, you know what?
That's gonna
If
be
it's
mind-blowing.
VR,
Yeah.
that is a possibility right there. VR. They could probably set up the whole scenario and you just go through with your friends during VR. So I can see it like that, but I can't see it like as an actual like single player video
Like a
game.
PC game
Yeah.
or something.
And I think playing Zoom and doing the D&D, I think that you're still to some degree getting that human interaction because you can see their faces and you guys are in character and you're bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's still like different than being in the same room with each other, but I think it's still pretty close.
At least
Yeah,
you're
that's how I feel about
communicating
it
with
too.
people.
Yeah, yeah. You can still hear people talking instead of just seeing like little chats or like little emojis and stuff. Like, like you need to hear the tone of their voice. So
It's so
I think
true.
it helps. I think stuff like that helps people play tabletop games even when they can't get together like every week. You know.
Even then, when you have to roll the dice in it, you have to do it over like the computer. So you have to rely on like the computer rolling the dice, giving you a good roll compared to
Wait, do you mean like if you're playing over Zoom or if you're playing?
if you're playing over Zoom.
You just have your dice with you.
I know, but that's not fully accurate. I mean, someone would roll and be like,
Bro,
Like,
who
how
are
do
you,
you know
who
they're
are you
telling the
playing
truth?
with that they lie about their dice rolls?
there are
That's
people like
messed up,
that.
dude.
That would be messed up. Believe it or not, there are
Play
people
with
out there.
better people.
You know,
It's word of
you don't know
mouth,
someone
bro.
until you actually play with their character.
Yeah,
I
you know
guess
what?
Then you
Well,
see
but-
what they want to be.
I played Chinese
Yeah.
checkers with my friend, and I walked in. I saw them cheat. I was like,
Ouch,
I
man.
never
I just
told
take,
them
I
that
just
I
take their
knew.
word for it.
yeah.
Or maybe I'm just covering myself because I'm one of those people. Oh, I don't know, but no,
And you
I
said you want to play D&D. Now you're
want to
putting
play D&D.
thoughts
I
in my
want to play
head.
D&D as a group, all of us, and I think that's the future of gaming is us playing D&D.
So do you think like role-playing games are going to be more the future, or do you think like more tabletop games?
I've been seeing a lot of people play a lot of role-playing games now. I mean,
Really?
back then, I guess it's still kind of a nerdish thing, but I've been seeing a lot of people that you don't expect to play actually play it now because they are interested in being maybe a different person or being in this different world. So they get enjoyment out of it. And it's
Yeah.
fun, and you're actually playing with friends. If you're playing with friends and you're having a good time.
I love that.
I think people are just like messed up enough right now that they're like, yeah, like let's go be dwarves and elves and like.
Okay, so they have like board game conventions, and it's hard with quarantine right now.
Yeah.
But a lot of these board game conventions, they try to teach people about new up and coming games, and they have like a lot of tabletop games that are even life size. So there's this game called King of Tokyo,
Ooh.
which is very similar to like King Kong versus Godzilla. And so you're like a monster and you're trying to fight each other by rolling dice. Ooh. So super simple, basic rules, but really fun, really complex as like the game goes. And it's super interactive with your friends, which is kind of nice because it has that
Sounds nice.
role
That
playing.
sounds great. I want to fight as a monster.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That's
Before quarantine, when I went to Anime Expo and Comic-Con, like tabletop gaming little sections.
Comic-Con has tabletop gaming?
Yeah, they do. They had a whole
never
place
seen
where
that.
people were playing.
I've never.
Like, you could go
I
in
did
there and
see
play.
the Dungeon D&D and Revenge of Revenge of something.
Is that the horror one?
Yeah, Cthulhu. Revenge
Yeah,
of Cthulhu.
yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, they had that, and I mean, if you go, so you were at Comic-Con, right? San Diego?
I've been to Comic-Con like 5 times.
Oh, okay. But at the San Diego one, you go to like any stand, and like so many of them, you buy like D&D dice. You can buy like figures and stuff like that. Like they sold a lot of D&D stuff. I feel like.
Did they have Magic the Gathering there or just
Maybe.
D&D?
Maybe.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know
that
what
gets-
it was. I didn't go in, but I know that it was just a little area where people were playing tabletop games and stuff. Magic the Gathering. That sounds fun too. I've not played that.
I've only played it a little bit. Have
you like it?
I've never played it either.
It has like the dice rolling thing that Dungeons and Dragons has, but
Yeah.
it has like cards and there's different effects on it.
That sounds fun. Actually.
Yeah.
That's.
That's something I want to try.
I know. That's awesome. Hey, thank you for finishing that. That's what I was saying. Something I want to try for sure.
Like, there's so many games I want to try that I just can't because you can't get enough people to actually
It's
do.
true.
And then
You have to
Yeah.
get like a group of people and be like, we're committed to learning this game first and foremost. Secondly, we're committed to playing this game.
we gotta set a time.
Yeah.
And we gotta set times to meet.
Yes, times.
This place, that time, here, there, boom,
Yeah.
and we're all dedicated.
Oh.
And then you'll probably lose like 1 or 3 people that you have to kind of write out, but you usually just play
Or
with
like,
them.
oh, I can come there once a month because like my freaking babysitter or whatever. Like it makes sense, and that's something I think about with the future of games like this as well. Is it gonna just get harder and harder to play because everybody's so busy, or is it gonna get easier to play because even if people are busy, let's say they're out of town but they have a couple hours to themselves, they can just get online.
And this is tough. I mean, like, I could see both sides of it. I feel like there is just, I think with our generation, such a boom in, like, new board games being developed. Which is weird because, like, technology's growing, so you think it would be shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there's just so many unique board games and different types being developed all the time.
People don't get enough tactical things. So they
Yeah.
like to do entertainment that involves tactical things. They're holding things, they're using cards, they're reading stuff.
That is so true.
Like, they don't get enough of that. You know what game is really good, actually?
What?
The Disney one, Villainous.
I have heard that is so
It's
good.
actually
I
pretty
need to
fun.
play
The
that.
expansion packs are cool.
I've
Like,
seen a lot of
pretty
those.
fun. Yeah.
I wanted to get the one with Thanos on it.
Oh, yeah, I haven't played that
That one
one,
looked
but
cool.
yeah,
'Cause
I
he's
play
sitting there
Ratigan.
He's sitting there with the Infinity Stones, and I'm like, this just looks cool because of Thanos. I don't know if it's a good game.
It's good. It's actually a pretty good game. Like everybody's playing a different game because everybody has different objectives and different powers. So it's like pretty in depth, but it's cool.
There was a game I played called Betrayal at House on the Hill, and I played around Halloween time. It's like you're in a complete horror movie with your friends, and there's a little bit of role playing because you're like, the scary story is developing before you, and at some point someone becomes the bad guy, and they turn into a certain type of monster with certain effects, and it's so fun because you don't know where it's going.
That
Nobody
sounds
does.
fun, actually.
It's really fun.
Making
it
a list of games we need to play.
Board game?
It is a tabletop game. So the haunted house develops before you as you grow.
I think you go into different rooms, right?
Yes, that's totally
I
it.
have played that.
Have you played?
Yeah,
Yes, you
that is
discover the rooms.
Yeah, you
and
discover the room and you open.
Get
And you're able
items.
to uncover it and see what's in there. the magician or something.
Oh,
and you have to
yeah.
like know each other like cards in their hand.
That sounds fun.
I love
Yeah.
games like that.
So you get you get a partner and you have to basically like stare each other in the face and be able to guess what cards they have.
Okay, that's cool.
I love the games where you're having to guess if someone is like bluffing or.
Yeah, that's Resistance.
Is that Resistance? Okay.
Yeah.
Or
It's
Coup.
it kind of sounds like we all have like the same opinion that games are gonna keep being cool.
Or have you ever played Coup?
I played Coup. I like Coup.
Coup
I
is
haven't
great.
played Coup. What's Coup?
But
Coup
like,
is fun. I'll explain it to you
Yes.
after. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
our viewers are not going to be able to understand. So,
just look up Coup and you'll like it.
Cool
so
story.
all right. So we're going to get the results of whatever results we're trying to
where,
find
where
right
we
now.
think the future of board games.
Where is the future of board games? Well, we are back, folks. So let's go ahead. Let's take the sides that we are taking at the moment about this whole debate, conversation, whatever we did. All right, so Maggie, do you want to go first?
Sure, so there wasn't too much of an actual debate because we ended up just kind of talking about these games that we love. And I feel like that gives it away of if I think I'm optimistic about the future of board games or not. And so, honestly, I am. I think we have a good future with them.
All right, let's take it over to you, Talia.
I am on the same board as Maggie. I am super optimistic about the future of board games.
Well, me, I think everything's going to turn into the Matrix, really. It's all digital now. Eventually, we're just going to get implants and be playing games like that.
Debbie Downer.
As if we're not already in the Matrix.
That's true. Well, so that's it for today's show. Unfortunately, Joe is not here because he's over in Ohio.
Woo! Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys!
Arthur, do you know how to focus?
No. Geek Room episode 2.